Hi, this is Abbas Hussain from FightHype.com, and I'm here with the British champ, Frank Buglioni. Frank, how are you doing today?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Nice to see you.
Obviously, we're here at the Dylan White, Lucas Brown press conference, of which you'll be on the undercard co-main, fighting your mandatory challenger, Callum Johnson. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Callum Johnson, as far as I know, he's come through his initial medical test, and we're just waiting for the final confirmation. He gets through the British Border Control test, and he deserves this shot. He's had a tough time of it, and he's hung in there. He's my mandatory challenger. He's Commonwealth champion. He's had a glittering amateur career, and he's had a few setbacks in his personal life and around his manager stroke trainer Gallagher. But yeah, he's going to come through it, and I'm looking forward to a good fight with him.
What sort of challenges do you see him possessing versus yourself? He's, like I said, Commonwealth champion. You know, he's gained sort of a good momentum in the division. You know, what sort of threats does he possess to you that you see?
He's got power in both hands. He's short. He rolls nice. He's a good counterpuncher. He had a good amateur career, so he does a nice lean back left hook. He does the basics well. He's got a nice jab when he uses it. But he's not got the experience I've got, and he's not at the level I'm at now. So it's going to be difficult for him when he's in there. I think he's got good toughness, and he'll put up a good fight. And I expect to take a close points victory or a late stoppage.
Frank, every time people talk to you or talk about you, there's always that potential fight, and Eddie mentioned it there with Anthony Yarde. Now, there's been a lot of back and forth last year, and it seems like 2018 starting with that sort of talk again. Talk to me about that. In your view, what went wrong for that fight not to happen last year, and do you think it happened in 2018?
So when I moved up to light heavyweight, to make myself relevant, I said I'm going to win that British title. So I chased Jose Burton, I chased Joe Gallagher, and they didn't want to know me. So I got myself into a mandatory position, and I went into his backyard and I beat him. And Anthony Yarde had the same opportunity to do that, to fight Jose Burton, getting into the mandatory position. Then there's no running from me. He can fight me. He didn't do that. He decided to pull out. So now he can't fight for the British title for 12 months against me because he's pulled out of his final eliminator. And that's not me. That's British Border Control rules. So what I intend to do is I'll win it outright against Callum Johnson, and then I'll drop the British title, or I'll defend it one more time against Jose Burton if Yarde don't want to fight me, and then I'll go after Yarde and I'll fight him for his WBO European that I coincidentally won in my 9th fight, or whatever intercontinental belt they want to put up, and I'll fight him, and I'll take that undefeated record and I'll stop him inside 6, and I'll expose the hype.
That's what I was going to talk to you about. You just said it there. Obviously, he's beating everyone. He's knocked out everyone bar one opponent. But there you use the word hype. Do you believe he is hype?
You've only got to look at his opponents, and why are they picking fighters that none of them can punch, none of them are dangerous. They're all plus 40 or middleweights, pumped up, or super middleweights. Until he fights a genuine fighter, he's not going to get my respect. He hasn't done anything wrong, but he hasn't really tested himself, he hasn't challenged himself, he hasn't done anything to really kind of make his mark. He's gone down the WBO European route, he's fought hand-picked guys to get his ranking up, but there's no intention of him fighting Kovalev or any of the top 3 in the WBO. So he doesn't even want to fight Jose Burton.
In regards to that, we've obviously kept sort of close tabs with him, and in regards to the whole situation, do you believe that he just wanted you, from what we know, he just wanted to fight you? He didn't want to fight Burton for whatever reason, but he just wanted you. Could that fight have actually been made without Jose Burton being in the equation?
It could have been, until they made the final eliminator between Jose Burton and Anthony Yarde. And for me, if you want something bad enough, you'll step over the hurdle. And if he's as good as they say he is, then he'll wipe Jose Burton out, take a massive payday, which Eddie Hearn was offering, and then get the fight that they really wanted. But they obviously didn't really want it, because they didn't fight Jose Burton to get to me. Because once he beats Jose Burton, I've got nowhere to turn, and I'll gladly take that fight. But they didn't. I mean, the proof is, I've got my fight in Callum Johnson. He's my mandatory challenger. So if I want to win that British outright, which I've said that I've wanted to do for a long time, this is the path I'm going down. I want to beat Callum Johnson, and then I'll leave that British title aside, and and I'll fight Anthony Yarde for the WBO European or one of the Intercontinentals or any Mickey Mouse belt that they want to come along with, or I'll fight him for nothing. I'll fight him for no belts on the line, and we'll just get the fight on, and I'll expose him and I'll knock him out.
And say you beat whoever you've mentioned there, Johnson, Yarde, and whatever else, is it a final push at the world stage, the world title?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a final push. I call it a getting back to the world level, winning a world title, and staying there and defending it for a long time. I'm very confident in my ability. As I said before, I mentioned in the press conference, I've taken care of a niggling injury that was plaguing me for the last 4 or 5 years. That's out of my head now, and you're going to see me at my very best. And I expect the next 2-3 fights to show people what I can do, and then people are genuinely going to be avoiding me, and there's going to be no questions asked.
Obviously, you're in the light heavyweight division. If you look at the top 10, it's packed with great names. There's a fight that looks like it's been made, Adonis Stevenson, Badou Jack. Whether it's been made or it's very close to being made, how do you see that fight playing out?
Good fight. Stevenson, he can punch, he's awkward, he's a southpaw, but Badou Jack does everything well, and I think he's improved tremendously over the last few fights, so it could be the right timing for him. Adonis Stevenson is no spring chicken anymore. To quote Kovalev, he calls him the chicken. So no, it's a good fight. I mean, you've got to look at, if Adonis Stevenson is going to win it, he's going to stop him early. If not, it's going to be Badou Jack on points, or wear him down and stop him late. So that's an interesting one. But yeah, there's guys in the light heavyweight division that I've got my eye on, and I'm looking forward to closing out this year successfully in the domestic scene, moving on to European and fringe world level, get myself into them top 5 rankings and be ready to challenge for world titles 2019.
Well, you spoke about Kovalev there. Andre Ward beat him twice, but he ended up retiring. First of all, what did you make of Andre Ward as a fighter? And secondly, do you think he might have retired a little bit too early?
Great fighter, first of all. One of the pound for pound greats. He'd done everything at super middleweight. He beat a lot of good champions, and then he'd done it at light heavyweight. Sullivan Barrera, great fighter, and he beat him convincingly. And then Kovalev, the first fight, it was close. It was a close one to call, but I leant towards Andre Ward. And then the second fight, he dominated, and he exposed the weaknesses of Sergei Kovalev, who likes to drink a lot of vodka, and he's weak to the body, according to John David Jackson. So he did his research, and he done a good job on him. And he retired at the top, undefeated. What was he, undisputed light heavyweight and undisputed super middleweight. So did he retire too early? Nah, I don't think so. I think he achieved everything he wanted to, and all his faculties intact. He knew what he was doing, but we might see him come back. Who knows?
Finally, Frank, what do you want to say to the fans, the people that are going to be tuning in on 24th of March or coming to the O2? What do you want to say to their fans?
Watch this space. I think there's going to be a lot of my loyal support. I'm going to reward them with their loyal support all through the years. We're going to the top.
Frank, thank you very much. Talk to FightHype.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you.